Another thing I wanted to bring up, and I'm not saying this affected the game or whatever. It was just I feel like this year, I think I say this every year, but the referees just seem like they get worse and worse. And
Disgusting.
The Goddard face mask, not because it was a big play, not because it was a turnover.
Because it was so blatant.
From a like the reason a face mask is a penalty is because it's a dangerous play, and Goddard got injured on that play. He's on IR now because he hurt his shoulder from the way he's. I mean, when you're yanked down by your face and you fall right on your shoulder and you weigh 260 pounds, like that's a good way to injure your shoulder. And my biggest complaint is there's literally a ref less than 10 yards directly downfield. He's not to the
Literally like
left or the
this.
right. He's literally directly downfield. There's literally a camera shot where
Here's
the
a picture.
camera is going through the ref, and
Mm-hmm.
like, and the fact that the refs after the game they're like, we didn't see it. Like, when I wish sometimes a ref would just come up and be like, we messed up.
Well,
Like,
RJ said it. I think you texted it during the game. One of you did. I think it was RJ saying they
Immediately.
should get fined.
I think they should get fined. I think.
Like refs, I mean, they should get like if a player, I don't know, because I mean a player doesn't get fined if they mess up a play, but
Should be held accountable.
well, if a defender comes in and okay, if AJ Green gets fined 10,000, AJ Brown.
This is an ongoing issue.
Yeah, this is into the off season, people. First night of getting
the
one of the
draft
Eagles.
and a trade.
But if AJ Brown gets fined $10,000 for pointing his finger at players that he just wrecked in a great play, which
Oh, when he got that
people
touchdown
people
over
do
two
that from
defenders,
like
he was like 1, 2.
yeah, you do that from like the time you're in preschool playing football with your friends. You do that kind of stuff, and then if he's gonna get fined $10,000 for that, the refs should get fined for egregious misses.
I think you got a good point there. Honestly,
Aren't they full-time refs now? It's a full-time job.
They just seem. I
More
mean,
training.
we've been fans long enough. We complain about the refs all the time, and yeah, the Eagles didn't make enough plays, and they turned the ball over 3 times, and the Commanders had a good game plan. That's all. That's the reason why you can't let the refs age your loss. You know what I mean?
I think
Yeah.
I think I get what you're trying to say.
Like if you're playing a great game and there's like a phantom call at the end, then you can blame the refs, like the Saints game. But a game like this, the Eagles obviously, yeah, a game like this, the Eagles obviously weren't playing well. Anyways, like if the Eagles had like 500 yards of offense and they were scoring every time they touched the ball, but the only times they didn't score is when the refs messed it up, I'd be like, okay, it's completely the refs' fault. And yeah, I was mad about the refs. I'm allowed to be. It's their first loss.
I'd be livid. The face mask is disgusting. It's
they've been bad all year.
How bad the refs have been. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Chiefs Raiders game with the Chris Jones sack, the Falcons Buccaneers game with Grady Jarrett sack, in the Titans Broncos game. It didn't end up affecting the game, but the Broncos were in like a 3rd and like 15, backed up in their own end zone, and Russell Wilson throws like just an airmail ball out of bounds, and then the Titans like 5th string defensive end, he's a rookie, comes flying around, dips under the tackle, and like literally right after Russell Wilson flips the ball, he like shoulders Russell Wilson in the hip. And Russell Wilson, like, I don't even think he falls over. I think he just like stumbles away, and the ref threw a flag, roughing the passer. I'm just like,
one other thing for refs, it's not intentional, but if you can't get out of the way of a play because you don't have enough athleticism, you shouldn't be a ref.
Yeah,
they should have like, I'm sure they do.
It should be called the
I don't know
rule.
actually. There's not as many old refs. It seems like some of the older refs have been phased out with a newer generation, but like you've seen refs make like the one ref in the Washington game where he
laid out the Vikings.
Vikings. Yeah.
What were you doing in that? I know that the refs have their position, but like there's like 5 guys there, and you were like, get out of the way if you know the route's coming.
I think
like,
that's the
move.
third time this year I've seen a ref bump into a safety on a deep shot play, and in my opinion, affect the play. And they just go, ref's part of the field.
Yeah, I hate that the ref's part of the field.
Did you see that play? I don't know if it was college or high school where the field goal kicker hit
That's
the
what made me
ball off the
think
ref's
about it.
head and it bounced
That's
in.
a field goal, right?
And everyone was like, well, I don't know. Like, if you kick a field goal into the dirt and it bounces up, is that a field goal? Or
If it goes off of a player, it counts.
yeah, but if the player is not considered part of the field, the ref's considered part of the field.
Oh, see, that's just stupid to me. If I was a player, I would just wreck a ref and be like, whoops, sorry, part of the field.
Right in the head.
Just
Part of the ship, part of the crew.
stomp
Part of
on
the
it as you're
crew,
running
yeah.
by.
Well, that's like
Yeah,
I brought
well,
this up. I brought this up weeks ago, and I said that if refs are going to be so tick-tacky with that roughing the passer call, and I know as a defensive end, I'm going to hit the quarterback late, I'm just going to run you over. Like, if I'm going to get
Might as
flagged
well.
anyway, you're going to
You've
feel
always
me.
had that position where you should just get your money's worth no matter what.
Why not? You get fined for the roughing the passer call, whether or not you laid out the ref or the ref, it was a bad call. You can certainly appeal it, but I don't know how often the league will do that. But if I know I'm gonna hit the quarterback, like, buckle up. Like, I'm taking that. You're earning that 15 yards and that first down.
Yeah, they got to figure out some way, I think, to. I don't know how they would do it. Because I do think it should be part of the game where, because if you review any play, you could literally call holding on any play or pass interference on any play.
This just popped into my mind, and in my memory, I've never heard this be brought up. Why can't we have a running into the quarterback and roughing the quarterback like there is for kickers?
True.
Running into the quarterback, it's a 5-yard penalty, not automatic first down.
No automatic first down, yeah.
Roughing the quarterback, it's 15 yards, automatic first down. Why can't we have that? I guess some people will say, well, if you have that, then they're going to call it more often. But
I take 5 yards over automatic first down every time.
Yeah, just, a 5 yard. They call false start gets called all the time. And I think, not to get into like what should be, changing penalties and whatnot, but I think holding is one of the worst penalties ever. Like 10 yards is so bad.
Automatic first down.
No, holding on the offense.
Offensive holding.
It just ruins drives.
Oh, yeah.
Like, 1st and 10, you get like a 15-yard run and like a hold on the right side of the field that has nothing to do with it. And you're like, oh, 1st and 20. And like, it's so hard.
Especially after, like, if it was after the guy's already halfway down the field. Like, did it really affect the play at all? No. Then why?
This is my biggest complaint with holding. I think, for the most part, on running plays, holding is called. It balances out. I think you get away with it just as much as you kind of get screwed with it. I think where holding is just, the league's just awful at it. When quarterbacks break out of the pocket, the tackles almost always hold the defensive ends so they can't contain.
Sometimes it's not
Lamar gets the Ravens get away with it all the time. The Chiefs get away with it all the time. I'll be fair. The Bills probably do it. I just can't recall. I think in a couple of the Bears games, I've seen defenders, like, they're turning to try and make that lunge tackle for the feet once the quarterback breaks contain, and you always see the lineman, like, grab and pull them in.
I don't think
never called.
Well, it's running quarterbacks. I don't think that's as much as an intentional hold as the linemen are engaged with the defensive lineman. And, they grab in there, probably, depending on the pass play, because you or whatever play it is. And then if your quarterback's Justin Fields, who can move like a lightning bolt, sprints out to the right, and the defender, who's equally athletic sometimes nowadays, goes to run, and you're like, oh, I already got my hands on you, and then it's a hold for a half a second.
Hey, if you're a receiver running a route and the receiver stops real quick and turns around, you run into him, still pass interference.
I'm not saying it shouldn't be holding. I'm just saying I don't think it's as egregious.
I think it is.
I don't think it's like an intentional thing.
I think it is.
I had another one I was going to mention, but I can't remember. Oh, well.
Also, again, I don't want to... we don't...
Go ahead, and I'll say my...
You know what call I have not seen in years? Where's the uncatchable ball call? Like you see it all
Yes,
the time
I
on
was
like
gonna say,
pass
it's the same
interference
thing.
or like some defensive call, and the refs would be like, "The ball was uncatchable, so there's no point. We're not throwing a flag." I have not seen that. Maybe they took it out for all I know. I have not seen that called in probably 6
I thought I
years.
saw one not that long ago. But they should have an untackleable running back for that holding. Can't tackle the running back. It doesn't matter if you're held or not. Sorry.
when you're on the other side of the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen the non-catchable ball either in a while. I don't think they should incorporate being able to challenge penalties or replaying all penalties because, like I said, when you run a play back in slow mo, you can almost always point to certain things and be like, that's penalty or interference. But the ones that are like roughing calls, face mask calls, like sideline penalty, roughing calls, just let the booth do a quick review of that, just like a
Well,
touchdown or something, because
did you
that's
see
15
what?
yards and that's either plays that lead to penalties or they're like big moment type things.
Did you see what Bill Belichick said?
Yeah, his whole
That you should get 2 challenges that you can challenge whatever you want, and you can do it whenever you want.